If I started my own hedge fund,
what would you do? You're taking 2% off the top and then 20% of the profits? Greedy move.
I think if you didn't hurt your elbow, I would have saw you in the 3-point contest. What was your percentage? Like 47?
47.1.
0.1 on them things? That would have been a big win for the A&A community.
Man, it would have been a big win for more than just the A&A community.
An NBA player pursuing an investment route while he's playing that he has not seen any of his peers do before.
It makes it even cooler, I guess.
You're just like, shit.
Let's do it.
Let's go, baby. It's another episode of the Athletes and Assets podcast. I bring on your favorite athletes to chat about a business topic. I'm here with my guy, Matt Ryan, who is not a first-time guest. My guy came on, what was it, a year and a half ago?
Yep.
A year and a half ago, man. Good to see you, bro.
Yes, sir.
This is a lot of fun. I appreciate you stopping by. Matty, you know what we do.
Skip the small talk.
We skip the small talk, bro. Go right into that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm pissed, though, because, you know, I think if you didn't hurt your elbow, I would have saw you in the 3-point contest. And that would have been a big win for the A&A community.
Man, it would have been a big win for more than just the A&A community. Let me tell you. It was looking good, but, you know, it might not happen this year, but I think it'll happen in the next couple of years.
Your elbow's good, though, right?
All good. I had it 4 weeks ago today. Had a little procedure done. Looking to be back in the next couple of weeks.
It's so funny on Twitter, you know, Shams or someone will tweet the exact, you know, diagnosis, and people will be like, well, how are you feeling when you do this and that? And then you just have the guys asking like, you good?
You good? Yeah, I'm good.
You straight?
That's it.
Are you good?
Yeah.
There's nothing else to talk about.
I mean, every day for the past 4 weeks, Zion and Herb Jones, oh, Matt, you good? Yeah, I'm good.
You good?
That's it.
You good?
I'm good.
You good? That's it?
When are you coming back?
That's it?
You know, I'm getting it. All right, cool.
That's it. Man, that's it. Yeah, man. So, I mean, congratulations on the season so far. You're killing it, dude. You're knocking them down.
Yeah.
What was your percentage? Like 47?
47.1.
0.1 on them things? Oh, my gosh.
You know, it's
a lot of reps.
I finally kind of got that opportunity to get a nice stretch of games with getting consistent minutes. I think I played like 13 or 14 games and really showed what I can do with consistent minutes and in some big games, especially like the in-season tournament. Got to play a couple big games in that. I'm just itching to get back, man. See if I can keep it rolling like I was.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, it's fun. I play this clip, Matt. Other Matt. I just need another. Foul me like that again, son. Foul me like that again. In the game. Foul me like that again, son. Foul me like that again.
Oh, man. I haven't brought that energy to an NBA game yet, but it's coming.
It's got to, right?
It's coming. Yeah, that New York Park energy is going to come out eventually.
That New York vibes, yeah. So, Matt, last time you and I sat down, we were on Zoom, or Riverside, whatever you want to call it. And at that point, this was about a year ago, you were on the Celtics, and we were just talking about, you know, your interest in hedge funds. So, you know, a lot of time has passed, depending on how you look at it. Where is your head at now? Do you still have that like passion for hedge funds? Do you still like the space? Like where, you know, how do you feel about, you know, that space and your, I would call, you know, recreational research?
You know, like we said before, you know, we hopped on the podcast. I think that was May or June of 2022.
Yeah.
So we're, you know, that's about a year and a half ago, and I had just got into the NBA. I think I was only like a month or two in the NBA on a 2-way contract with Boston. So I was still kind of taking all that in, and then we hopped on the pod and we kind of started talking about business, and that was definitely something that you know, that was on my mind at that time. Leading up to that first podcast, you know, I had been home for a while and kind of chatting with some friends in New York City about what they're doing and you know, some potential avenues that we could do some business together in the future. So that was an idea that I had with a friend of mine in New York, and over the past year and a half, that idea has kind of evolved into into some real potential of happening in the near future. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested in the hedge fund space and the whole financial market economy, both domestic, international. Like,
Yeah.
I look at it and I'm interested in it. And in terms of a hedge fund, hopefully that comes soon if we do all the right things. And it's exciting. That's something that I'm working on and working towards. And it's fun to talk about.
Yeah, hedge funds seem like a lot of fun, man. I mean, you have this it's almost like you're Jordan Belfort for when you get in that mode. You have the whole financial world, at your disposal, at your fingertips. You have some people relying on you if you take in LPs or outside funding. But man, you're calling the shots in terms of the positions in the financial markets. And I think I feel like, and I don't want to speak for you, because you grew up near it, you being in New York, this is like what all your buddies are doing who weren't as fortunate to make it to the league. This is, what you're trying to do on the side.
No, I mean, where I grew up in New York and where I went to high school, I was definitely around friends and families that, were involved in the New York City, exchanges and financial markets, whether it's working at firms, owning firms. When I was in high school, that was kind of my backup plan. If I didn't make it to the NBA, was I was going to go work on Wall Street or somewhere in the city and start my life down there, whatever that would have entailed. But then I go to Notre Dame and Vanderbilt, get a really, really good education, especially Vanderbilt being able to study all those economic courses and then build the connections. Right, that's what I'm learning.
Yeah,
and most of the real world is all about who you know and what your network looks like. After everything I've learned and the relationships I've built, I think it's a really good time to start moving in that direction of, creating my own thing and, working with the right people.
Yeah. What do you, let's assume you're going to be the trailblazer in the future or the spokesperson for athlete meets hedge fund manager. Let's make some assumptions here. What do you think is a trait? What are some qualities that you take from, your athletic career and how do you apply that to how you think about investing in some of this stuff? And when I say some of this stuff, I mean, for hedge funds, it's like stock market, secondary equities, bonds, surface level, what are some things that you try to apply, off the court that you've learned on in that space?
Well, firstly, I think when I do move into that space, I'll probably be hands off on investing other people's money. And when I say probably, it'll definitely be hands off.
Okay.
I see my role as more of like a public facing role, whether it's investor relations or, figuring out whether we want to set up, say foundations or hold events or, where we're going for the investing. Definitely, I'll be hands off on that.
However, I'm so glad you're about to go ahead. So glad you brought that up.
However, what I've been learning over the past few months and is people that are in that space in New York and wherever people that work at firms this is their whole life.
Yeah.
This is what they do. I go to the gym every day and work my ass off to
take threes and no layups, just lazy shit.
You come in here and you're building your company every day. People that have other people's money in their hands, they're working almost around the clock all year. It's one of the biggest responsibilities you could probably have. And what I've been learning, especially as I talk to more people about, gauging their interest and if they would be interested in, investing in this as a long-term opportunity. I need to know kind of about what our fund strategy would look like. Luckily, I'm my future partner in this has already been around it for a long time and knows what they're doing. Their strategy is, tried and true, and that's a great asset to have, and really kind of boosts what the opportunity is. My antenna's raised because you mentioned something that I'm starting to see a trend in now, and I think it's genius. The athlete turned investor relations role. Yeah.
For any type of asset class or any fund is genius. What person who has a lot of capital and goes to the games wouldn't want to interface with an athlete that they've recognized for that fund?
Well, think about it. the way the world is right now, especially in our society, athletes are kind of celebs, influencers for people that do a lot of, working with companies. So it's kind of like a similar thing, whether it's for a hedge fund or, for any kind of company. It's like who's going to be the public facing side of it? Who can kind of like give it a good public perception, and
Sure.
Who's going to go out there and kind of get the name of it out there when the time comes.
Yeah, I had Chase Hansen on recently, who is investor relations manager at Thrive Development. It's a private commercial real estate fund based out of Utah. Chase went to the University of Utah and then played for the Saints, and then now he's in that role.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. I appreciate you tapping in.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
You tapping into the pod.
I think I should.
Yeah. Should take notes on that episode.
Okay. I didn't. I'm going to have to go back.
So go watch it again. Because, I think, it's about trust and relationships. And like you said, like who you know. But, being a nice guy, especially now as you being active, like this is the best time for you to sort of develop those relationships and prove your reputation as a guy who's just more than just a hooper. You're genuinely interested in.
No doubt. There's so many things that you learn from sports, as you know now, doing what you're doing, and you haven't played collegiate basketball. Strategy, work ethic, dedication, being a great person, like that goes a long way as well. All that kind of goes into what I'm looking to do for a potential future fund, and it's exciting. Building a network, kind of tapping into that network. Sharing ideas with people. It's a lot of fun, and it's a little tricky, as we talked about. As you raise money for something, and figuring out the right people to get involved, and along stuff like that. I'm all figuring it out. I'm learning so much, man. I'm learning a lot. My head kind of starts spinning as all the things I'm learning, going through this, trying to start something cool. So, maybe I'll start asking you some questions about how to do it.
Yeah, keep it a buck with me here. How many times have you explained what a hedge fund is to your teammates?
I haven't even necessarily talked about it with teammates.
Why not, man? Preach the gospel, dude. What you doing? Preach the hedge fund gospel.
We'll get there.
It's
the network is I've been fortunate enough to meet people in a lot of cool different industries, and you're absolutely right though. When you bring up the term hedge fund, a lot of people aren't sure exactly what that means.
It sounds really boring.
And
it sounds really boring.
But also it sounds like what a venture capital fund is.
Yeah.
Like a VC firm, kind of invest in startups. People hear hedge fund and sometimes they think it does the same thing, where it's very, very different.
Yeah.
It's much more market based. And oh my God, there's so much that goes into it. But a VC firm, you raise a good amount of money and you invest in X amount of startups. The hedge fund, there's a lot more that goes into it. Okay.
If you raise money for a hedge fund, would you be a 2-20 guy? You taking
no comment.
No comment on that?
No.
Okay.
That's being discussed, so I can't.
Okay. I can comment.
You can comment.
If I started my own hedge fund,
what would you do?
Well,
you're taking 2% off the top and then 20% of the profits. You can greedy move.
I mean, first of all, let me look into the camera and say, neither Matt nor me are registered financial advisors. You should invest,
correct.
At your responsibility. We are not liable for any losses that you make. Maybe gains, but no, I'm kidding. Neither. Please consult with your financial advisor. We don't want liability. Back to the 2-20. You think I'm greedy for a 2-20?
No, I mean that's probably like
I think that's the industry standard, right?
Yeah.
Because here's where I was going with you. I was gonna ask if you were gonna get a little greedy, maybe go a little 30 ball if if people trust you guys enough and you kill it. I'm just throwing out numbers here.
I mean 30 would be amazing. I can promise you it won't be that high.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, especially if you're an emerging manager, right? Like maybe is I want people to respond here in the comments. Like, is 20 too high for an emerging manager? I don't know. I'm genuinely
20?
Like, is
I don't think 20 is a bad
reasonable, right?
Yeah.
And when we say 2 and 20, do you want to explain 2 and 20? Hedge fund guy?
You want me to explain it?
You explain it.
I mean, like you just said, 2 and 20, 2% incentive and management fee, and then 20% would be, the profit. So if you're, if your fund makes $5 million in profit that year, 20% is going, directly to the ownership.
Right. And if you invest, if you and I were to raise $100K
I'm
for
20% of the revenue is the profit.
Okay.
Yes.
And if you and I were to raise $100K together, from someone, from a group of people, 2,000 of that we'd pocket it as management fees. So we can pay our employees. Like, that's a very low number. That was a very vague, low example, but I'm just saying like that is what we mean by the 2 and 20.
And obviously the goal is just continue to scale. And, the cool thing about a hedge fund is like you kind of start it, and then, you do well for a little bit, and then, you hope that some bigger allocations come your way, and you just keep scaling and, doing it the right way.
So in venture, like, do you, from what you've seen from other people, your peers, like the fundraise process in venture, sometimes startups take like a week to raise for their round, or sometimes VCs take like half a year to raise a fund. Is there a standard timeline you've seen to raise for a hedge fund? I guess that's where I'm going with this. Like, how long have you seen it take people in your orbit to raise a hedge fund? And, how do you feel about that? Fundraising's tough.
I've heard different stories. One of the biggest hedge funds in New York, I forget exactly which one, but was primarily started because of a very wealthy family had, say $20 or $30 million, and boom, there's your seed capital overnight.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're raising, it could take several months. I don't think there's a bad way to go about it, as long as you reach your number and you're successful in your strategy and how you execute and your understanding of the market and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
You can have some success.
Well, where I like to talk about? I love to talk about the tech stuff. I saw a report and wasn't too happy with it. They were saying, like, I saw this hedge fund report that a lot of the big hedge funds are thinking about selling their positions in some of the mega tech startups. Tech companies. This year I'm talking like Amazon, Google, Nvidia, Alphabet, which is like Google. Why don't they believe in us?
My man, I don't know.
Why don't they believe? DJ Khaled voice. Why don't they believe in us?
Again, I think it depends which hedge funds are doing that. Again, what sectors of the economy are they, the strongest in? Unfortunately, for those tech companies that are, losing investment from, bigger hedge funds or firms, that's tough.
You keep track of tech stocks? Are you plugged into?
A little bit. That's the tech is a big sector of the economy. I do know that during times where the economy is struggling, that stocks like Nvidia and Amazon, those are kind of like the tried and true ones where it's kind of safe to put your money there. And as the economy starts to go in the other way in a more of a positive direction, I think the money starts getting dispersed out a little bit more, and there's opportunities for other sectors of the economy to share the wealth.
Yeah. Are you a guy who like checks Robinhood in between like on halftime and shit? Or are you kind of like no?
No.
And if you did, would you even share that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't though.
Okay. All right.
I remember during COVID, when COVID started and I was finishing up my 5th year of college, I was definitely somebody that was on Robinhood, like looking at everything. And
I was a Robinhood fiend during the pandemic, bro.
It was amazing to just see all the stocks.
Amazing.
And
man,
it not amazing for the investors.
I didn't short the stock, brother.
I mean, me either. I had no money at the time, so I was just looking at.
You're looking at it in the Uber car, in the Uber.
This is crazy. I remember looking at like Royal Caribbean, went from like 100 something down to $20. I was like, man, if this ever comes back, I wish I could put in like a few million into a $20 stock and then it goes to 140.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. But shoot.
Yeah. I remember like there was a point when GameStop was going crazy.
I remember that. Isn't there like a movie about that now or a show?
There may be.
I think there's a Netflix GameStop like movie now. You should
Is
look
there?
into it. Yeah, I forget.
That's why I brought this laptop fully charged, baby.
Yeah, I think there's a movie on Netflix now all about the GameStop because there was one, The Big Short, that was from 2008. I think
Watch Eat the Rich, the GameStop saga. Yeah.
Is that on Netflix?
Dude, why the fuck haven't I watched this before?
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
I haven't yet. No.
Gotta watch it.
I do want to. I want to see that.
We gotta watch it, man. I'll come over to the hotel. We'll have a team GameStop watch session.
I'm down.
You're down?
Yeah.
Let's do it. So, man, when GameStop was going crazy, I remember I was trading so much. Robinhood sent me a notice of threatening, like, we're shutting down your account. Like, you can't day trade on Robinhood. This is like the f around and find out sort of moment.
Yeah,
where
I
like
think you were the only one getting those.
I wasn't the only one getting that email. It was a templated email.
Didn't Robinhood like shut down for like a couple of days? People didn't have access to their money.
I think that was during the Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was skyrocketing, because people were.
Bro, I think it was GameStop.
You sure?
I think it was GameStop.
I don't think so, bro. I think Robinhood was shutting down during the Bitcoins. Let me check. We got to check.
It might have been both.
It might have been both.
I think during that GameStop thing, literally Robinhood shut down.
Robinhood, the popular trading platform, briefly stopped allowing users to trade cryptocurrencies in early 2021, citing concerns of their volatile and unpredictable nature. I think it was the crypto.
Yeah, okay.
I think it was the crypto, but that sucks, dude.
I could have swore it was GameStop.
Dude, if you ever start a hedge fund, I hope like when you guys are on top, you don't just. I hope you be able to sell your position. You know.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know where I was going with that, bro.
Well, I'm pretty sure anybody who gives money to a hedge fund will be kind of trusting those analysts and traders to take care of their investments.
Yeah. I don't envy, your role in being LP facing. Matt, sell the fucking position.
We're down, what, 1% today? What's going on? No, I mean, that'll have nothing to do with me. So
yeah. Yeah. Respect. Yeah, that was fun. I mean, the 2021 crypto scene, that was fun. Are there any people in the hedge fund industry that you admire, like the David Griffins of the world? Like, who is who do you look up to, company or person?
I don't think there's person. I think that there's a couple of hedge funds. And I always relate everything back to basketball, right? Like growing up, when I saw people that either looked like me or were my age making the NBA, I'm like, I can do it. When I see hedge funds now that have had success starting with nothing, I'm like, I can do it. Mm-hmm. And, raising X amount of money. Again, when you can have a good strategy and you work with the right people, I think anything's possible in that space. And, the potential is really unlimited. And when you talk to people when I've talked to people who have asked, what are the returns going to look like, right? People want to know that when they invest their money, like, what are the returns going to look like? How am I going to get my money back? How am I going to get paid doing this? I'm like, there's several different kinds of income that you're going to get from this. Most importantly is, when you get in early on something, you get equity. And, nothing trumps equity, brother, especially in a hedge fund space. Like, that's why it's an incredible opportunity, down the line for people that invest early in something like a hedge fund, because there's really there's no ceiling on what it could be.
Yeah.
There's no kind of selling it. It's just going to go.
So
hopefully for a long time.
So have you done any like Citadel Research, Millennium? Those are some big shops.
again, I think at the beginning stages, it's going to be all about getting that initial seed capital.
Yeah.
And then, once you can legally start it, I think maybe start looking at other funds and, not kind of seeing what they're doing and how they've had success. And so, I haven't done that research yet. That'll probably be for our next podcast.
Yeah,
we can talk more about that.
In 3 years, when it blows up, you're like, all right, now I can get to their growth levels. Like, this is what I've been studying.
Yeah, and then even when it, hopefully in the near future, when it becomes official and there is a actual hedge fund in the works, we could talk all about that and what the plans are.
Best hedge fund related advice you've ever received?
It just depends what angle.
You can take the wide angle, narrow, whatever angle you want to take.
Yeah, this could have hit singles and not home runs, right? That kind of goes for the investing side and from the raising side. Hit singles, not home runs. Be as honest and don't say promises that you can't deliver. And do things the right way. That's really all you can do.
Yeah.
You don't want to cheat. You don't want to do anything that'll burn bridges with people. The same way I go about my work, I show up to work every day and be a great person and try to do the best I can do. I'm going to apply the same principles to, what I do for a hedge fund or if I'm working with real estate people or, whatever I'm doing. That kind of advice where, hit singles instead of home runs, we'll get a long way.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you have any market predictions for this year? I know Jim Cramer. Can you be Jim Cramer for a sec, or are you not tapped in like that? You can be. We can pivot the conversation if that's not in your.
I would imagine it's going to go up a little bit. Especially after the last couple of years. I think the market was down 22 to 25% in 2022.
I can't confirm that, but at this moment, but
I think in the low to mid 20s it was down. Again, anything can happen.
Yeah,
anything can happen. You do your best to, put those investments in a good position to hopefully be successful. So,
have you heard of any other athletes that have been in this space at all? Do you feel like you are? Do you feel like you are on a path that hasn't been paved before? Be honest.
I truly don't know. I would say a lot of athletes right now, like when you look at Andre Iguodala, for example, he has a pretty big venture capital firm.
Just raised $200 for Mosaic General Partnership.
$200 million, VC firm.
Yeah.
But when you ask me about if I'm the first doing what I'm doing, like pretty interested in starting a hedge fund, I don't know. I don't know if there's been another athlete to do that, especially while they're playing.
So the fact that you don't
part of it,
the fact that you don't know, it doesn't mean it's a no, but for you, it's like
there's nobody.
I
don't know.
Yeah.
There could be, but
there could be. But as of right now, you're like walking you're like blind going down not blind, but you're going down a path that you haven't seen anyone do yet.
Yeah. It's fun.
Have you heard anyone externalize it like that?
What? Like that?
An NBA player pursuing an investment route while he's playing that he has not seen any of his peers do before.
It makes it even cooler, I guess.
You're just like, shit.
Let's do it. It's a great goal, I think, that I've given myself. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm excited to talk to people about it and kind of, put some wheels to it and get things moving and hopefully bring in, some pretty cool people and to be able to be partners with people I've known for a while or who I've met over the past couple of years. I think it'll be a really cool opportunity when it comes to fruition.
Do you are there people on the coaching staff, trainers, strength coaches that share the same interest level in this stuff as you, or do you feel like the conversations about hedge funds is when you're on calls or something in a hotel room? Does it ever hit the court with a colleague?
I've tried my best to kind of keep the interest that I have in and potentially starting a hedge fund away from my workplace
Sure.
in New Orleans. I've chatted about it with a very good amount of people who I've met.
So you have made the conscious decision, which everyone else is. It's like, all right, I'm here, I'm in work. It's about ball only.
Yeah.
If you bring it up, awesome, but I'm not gonna, like, this isn't what we're talking about when I'm getting iced up or taped.
No, like I'm not bringing it, to coaches or teammates. If they want to talk about it with me, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
But it's not something I'm pushing at all. Again, very early stages of what I'm working on and what I'm working towards.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool eventually.
Yeah.
To have to be
like, hey,
business partners in any way with a teammate. I think that'd be really cool. That's a really cool thing about the NBA. It's it's a lot of cool guys with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Maybe not everybody knows what a hedge fund is in particular, but
you will be the hedge fund NBA shaman.
Yeah, I think I could definitely introduce people to a new investment opportunity. There's no doubt that a lot of guys are very exposed to the market already with their own investments, as well as probably real estate and their own, whether they have their own foundations or whatever the case may be. My buddy CJ, my teammate now, he has his own wine. Like, he has, a nice chunk of land in Oregon, and recently tasted his Pinot Noir, which was very, very good. For people who are wondering if it tastes good, CJ's wine does taste good. There you go, CJ. But
shout out CJ.
Whatever the investment is for guys, I think it's cool to, if the chance is there to do business with other guys in the NBA, I think that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Matt, we appreciate you, sharing where your headspace is at, and
learning, man. I'm learning a lot. I think starting a hedge fund is a lofty goal.
Yeah.
For somebody that's playing, and I'm only in year 3, but it's not like I'm not like a 21-year-old year 3 guy. I'm a 26 going on 27.
Yeah, bro, you were in school for 40 years, and then
5 years of college plus a kind of a gap year.
Yeah.
I wasn't traveling Europe. I was kind of stuck in New York for my gap year during COVID. But I like it. I like business. I like trying to start this whenever it comes, and I'm looking forward to sharing what it is and what it could be with some cool people.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, this has been another great episode of the Athletes and Assets Podcast. I'm your host, Noah Lack, with Matt Ryan, chatting a little hedge funds, man. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, not too bad.
No doubt, no doubt.